I told you yesterday about my client who was a mermaid, and I thought I would tell you her other lifetime because it is very neatly connected to the mermaid life. So she found herself as a very, very young boy in someplace in sub-Saharan Africa. She was in a very, very small village with lots of other children, and she said that she was so thin that her body just looked like a little bag of bones, and her skin was dark. She was African, and the conditions were so dry that she was covered with dust. And so she really said, I looked like a bag of bones because my whole body was covered with this white powder. And, she didn't know that much about how people lived in these countries in southern Africa. But she said we ate a kind of a yam or sweet potato all the time. And, well, not all the time because they were all starving to death. They didn't have enough of it. And so she had an older brother who was always sort of looking out for her and would carry her around. And she said, but I was so light. I was just such a tiny, tiny little thing. So at this moment in a session, it's very sad. You want to move forward. That's one of the things we do is, okay, let's move forward to an important day in your life and see what happens. So I asked her to move forward in time, and I kind of expected that she might have died. But no, this little boy was a few years older, and he'd actually reached the time of his life where he had to perform a growing up ritual. And so at this point, they had moved a little bit north, and everything was greener, and they were sort of more in a jungly kind of area. And her older brother was still taking care of her, but now the mother was feeling better because she was eating more, and everybody was a little healthier. So the place that we went to was the night that he was supposed to have his growing up ritual. And this was basically the division between being a boy and being a man. And the ritual was that he had to go out into the sort of plain away from the village and spend the whole night by himself. So they took like these magical rocks and they made a circle for him that was supposed to protect him because the whole plain was filled with wild animals, lions, tigers, bears, whatever. Not bears. That was just a joke from the Wizard of Oz. So um, he went out there. He picked his magical stones to go around him, and he sat outside. And the night began to go on. And as the night went on, um, he was very scared, and he began to hear a large animal coming towards him. And sure enough, a lion came and crossed the magic line of the stones and killed him, tore him limb from limb, and ate him up or took him home to eat with the family. And, during a scene like that, we take people out of the body. We say we're going to watch this as a movie so they don't experience any physical discomfort at all. Um, and so he was eaten by this lion, and afterwards I said, were you upset? Like, are you sad? Are you mad? Like, it seems like that little magical circle wasn't really enough to protect you. Are you upset with your parents or the people who didn't take care of you? And what she said was really interesting. She said, you know, it's the circle of life. My body provided food for this lion's children who were starving to death. And she said, just the way I was allowed to live a little bit longer when I was starving, now I'm providing food for her family. And the higher self tied it back to the mermaid life, where she talked about the water cycle and how interrelated we all are. And so I thought it was a beautiful session because truly these were both examples of asking the client to remember how closely connected we all are to each other. And that, when this sweet boy said, it's okay, she needed to feed her children, um, I thought it showed just such maturity and such a high spiritual vision. So, that was another story. I'll see you again next time. Bye.